There's a lot of investors in this league. One investor, been trying to keep quiet about, his investment in the league ever since his comments that he made about a young rookie. Pretty much, had him in the headlines for about a month and a half. That is Geno Auriemma, dog. I'm here to tell you, he's part owner of this league.
Remember when Geno Auriemma said Caitlin Clark couldn't cut it in the WNBA? Well, karma's got a wicked sense of humor. Geno Auriemma, the self-proclaimed basketball guru, is watching his unrivaled investment crumble like a house of cards. Now imagine Caitlin Clark, the player he dissed, holding the one card that could save it all. But she's not playing.
Like I said earlier, they actually had odds that, she was like third or fourth in the betting odds to be MVP of the WNBA. That's such a slap in the face to every WNBA player. It's unbelievable, right?
It's a classic case of you reap what you sow. Auriemma's criticism is coming back to haunt him in the form of plummeting ratings and a hefty financial loss. Meanwhile, Clark's busy proving him wrong with every record-breaking play in the WNBA. Talk about a plot twist.
Well, we got an update on the unrivaled ratings for last Friday night, and well, as you can expect, they unraveled, as I like to say. Not good. I mean, we're basically at half the ratings now of the debut week.
You know how some people just can't stop themselves from making bad decisions? Well, Geno Auriemma is giving us a front row seat to his latest blunder. The UConn coach, riding high on his college success, thought he'd found his next golden ticket with Unrivaled. But let me tell you, this investment is turning into a disaster of epic proportions.
However, we've got an update here from one of the owners of the Unrivaled, and let's be real, this league will not make it if they don't get Caitlin Clark involved. And I think they realize that.
Let's set the scene. Auriemma, flush with confidence, decides to throw his weight and cash behind this new women's basketball league. He's thinking he's got the magic touch, that everything he touches in women's basketball turns to gold. But here's the twist. The league's entire success is banking on star power. And guess who's not playing ball? That's right, the one and only Caitlin Clark.
You guys don't remember? Asia Reese said she was also the draw. Did you guys forget about that? The hottest woman basketball player on the planet isn't involved in the Unrivaled, and weeks in, ratings are down under 100,000 viewers. So where's the lie? What am I missing?
Now, Auriemma's probably pacing in his office, watching those viewership numbers like a hawk. And let me tell you, they're not just low, they're embarrassingly low. We're talking a nosedive from 300,000 viewers to barely scraping 100,000. That's like going from Madison Square Garden to your local YMCA. It's a free fall that's making everyone involved break out in a cold sweat.
So it looked like Geno Auriemma could be the reason why Caitlin Clark is definitely not joining the Unrivaled 3-on-3 basketball league.
But it's not just Auriemma feeling the heat. The other investors are starting to sweat bullets too. This isn't just Geno's problem anymore. It's turned into a full-blown financial disaster. The league's business model, which seems so smart on paper, is now looking about as solid as a house of cards in a hurricane.
They've got to back up the Brinks truck. I mean, I know they offered her $1 million, which I think was roughly like 3 times what I think most of these players are getting. I think they've got to get much bigger. I think they got to give her $10 million to play in this thing. I know some people will laugh at that, but you've got no chance of turning a profit if you don't get Caitlin Clark involved in this league.
You've got to wonder what was going through Auriemma's mind when he signed those checks. Did he really think he could build a successful league without the star power of players like Caitlin Clark? It's like trying to make a blockbuster movie without any A-list actors. Sure, you might have a great script, but who's going to buy tickets? And speaking of Clark, her decision to turn down Unrivaled's offer is looking smarter by the day. They reportedly dangled over $1 million in front of her for just an 8-week season. That's some serious cash. But Clark saw the bigger picture. She knew her value, and she knew where she wanted to make her mark. In the WNBA.
You're not going to get the ratings, which in turn is not going to give you the revenue. The advertisers won't be there, right? You got to think about this.
Now, Auriemma's investment is starting to look riskier than a half-court shot at the buzzer. You can almost picture him, watching Clark dominate in the WNBA, knowing that she could have been the saving grace for Unrivaled. That's gotta sting, especially considering how much he's criticized her in the past. But let's talk numbers for a second. How much did Geno actually sink into this venture? This is the kind of investment that could have bought a small island or funded a whole bunch of college scholarships. You've got to wonder if Auriemma's regretting some of those comments he made about Clark now. All that criticism, all that doubt he cast on her abilities, and now she's the one thriving while his investment crumbles. It's like watching a real-time lesson in karma play out on the basketball court.
I know some of y'all were very happy that she's not doing Unrivaled, as, to stick it to the people who treated her poorly.
But here's the reality. This whole situation is exposing a fundamental flaw in how some people view women's basketball. Auriemma and the other Unrivaled backers thought they could just throw money at the problem and create a successful league overnight. They underestimated the importance of having actual stars in the league, and they overestimated their own ability to attract top talent.
Yes, it is unrivaled. It is also unwatched. Look, let's be honest, we can sugarcoat it all you want, but if you don't have Caitlin Clark playing women's basketball, or if you're not the NCAA tournament playing women's basketball, you got nothing. Zero, zip, nothing.
Remember when everyone thought Caitlin Clark was about to cash in big time with Unrivaled? Well, plot twist. She said no. And let me tell you, it's not just about the money. There's a whole backstory here that Geno Auriemma and his investor buddies never saw coming.
Angel Reese may be playing in the league, but who wants to see a goofy 6'6" woman miss layups? Not I.
So picture this. Unrivaled comes at Clark with a deal that would make most of us quit our day jobs on the spot. We're talking 7 figures for just a few weeks of play. Sounds like a no-brainer, right? But Clark's not having it. And trust me, there's way more to this story than just a fat paycheck. Let's rewind a bit. You know how Geno Auriemma couldn't seem to keep Clark's name out of his mouth? Yeah, those comments didn't exactly age like fine wine. In fact, they've turned into some pretty sour grapes for old Geno.
The delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on she's 3rd or 4th in betting odds on being MVP at the WNBA. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid that it gives women's basketball a bad name. Okay, so the kid was set up for failure right from the beginning.
Auriemma once claimed Clark wasn't built for the physicality of pro ball. Fast forward to her rookie season, and Clark's not just surviving, she's thriving. We're talking 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. That's not just good, that's historic. Now, put yourself in Clark's shoes for a second. You've just wrapped up a college career for the ages, you're tearing it up in the WNBA, and suddenly the guy who doubted you wants you to save his new league? Talk about awkward.
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
But it's not just about proving Auriemma wrong, though, let's be honest, that probably feels pretty good. Clark's got a packed schedule that would make most of us need a nap just looking at it. She's coming off a deep NCAA tournament run. She just finished a historic WNBA freshman season, and she's juggling endorsements and speaking events left and right. Oh, and let's not forget, she's human. She needs rest.
She has decided not to do Unrivaled, even though Aaliyah Boston's doing it, Lexi Hull is doing it, Kate Martin is doing it, and despite all the rumors, and I'm sure the push that was put on her. But Clark has all the leverage in this situation, and I'm not saying she flexed it, but she was comfortable enough in her position to make the decision, and it appears that answer is no.
You know what they say about burning the candle at both ends, right? Well, Clark's not about to set her whole career on fire just to make Auriemma's investment look good. Sources close to Clark are saying she needs a break after her demanding schedule. And honestly, can you blame her? But here's where it gets really interesting. It's not just about rest and recovery. There's this whole respect thing that's been brewing. After being underestimated for so long, why would Clark help the very people who doubted her? It's like if your high school bully asked you to help them win the lottery. Not exactly top of your to-do list, is it? Experts are saying Clark's decision could have some serious long-term implications for her career. By saying no to Unrivaled, she's showing the world that she values her health and long-term success over a quick payday. It's a power move, plain and simple.
I gotta ask you a basketball question. I know that you work really hard in the off season. You said yesterday you're always trying to get better. What's the thing that you're working on in this off season?
I think, honestly, besides the actual basketball skill part of it, I think getting stronger, that's what I'm focusing on. I'm in the weight room a lot, just building that strength. Obviously, it was hard going right from the college season to the professional season. You don't get to spend a lot of time in the weight room, so that's what I've tried to focus on the most here. And then obviously, a lot of things on the court. I'm always wanting to get better, and that's kind of what drives me, and I love it. I love getting to do it, and I feel very fortunate that it's my job.
And let's talk about the impact on Unrivaled for a second. Without Clark, this league is like a birthday party without cake. Sure, people might show up, but it's not going to be nearly as exciting. Analysts are saying that without Clark's star power, Unrivaled's going to have a tough time attracting casual viewers. She's not just a player, she's a whole event unto herself. Now, I know what you're thinking. But what about all that money? Well, here's the thing about Clark. She's looking at the big picture. A successful, sustainable career in the WNBA could mean way more in the long run than a quick cash grab with Unrivaled, especially when she makes at least $100,000 per speaking event.
Unrivaled. Phantom versus the Lunar Owls. Please rename all of these teams. A .16. You guys know what that translates to? 160,000 viewers. The Unrivaled. Mist versus Rose. 160,000 viewers. Not good. All right, not good.
Plus, let's be real. Clark's already a hot commodity. She's got endorsements, she's got fans, and she's got a whole lot of momentum. Why risk all that for a league that might not even be around next year? You know how they say success is the best revenge? Well, Caitlin Clark just took that saying and cranked it up to 11. Remember when Geno Auriemma said Clark fans were delusional for believing Clark would tear up the WNBA? Yeah, about that. Clark didn't just step into the WNBA. She exploded onto the scene like a supernova. We're talking about a rookie season that had fans, analysts, and even the harshest critics picking their jaws up off the floor. This wasn't just good. This was history in the making.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
More history for the FIBA rookie.
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
Let's break it down, shall we? Clark broke 62 records in her debut season. But wait, there's more. She led the entire league in assists per game. As a rookie. Let that sink in for a second. The player who supposedly couldn't handle the pro game? She's out there making seasoned veterans look like they're stuck in quicksand. And just when you thought she couldn't possibly do more, Clark pulled off something that hadn't been done in WNBA history. She recorded not one, but 2 triple-doubles as a rookie. That's right, the first 2 triple-doubles by a rookie in league history. It's almost like she's playing a different game out there.
You know, I just come out here and try to, play basketball in a way that people love watching, in a way that is going to make my team successful, and the records and whatever, or the stats, that's just what comes with it. But
now, remember all that talk about Clark not being able to handle the league? Well, analysts have been eating those words for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're praising her transition to the WNBA, noting how she's not just handling the physicality, but thriving in it. Her skill set isn't just impressive, it's game-changing.
Geno, baby, if Caitlin Clark is on the team, it becomes the right team. Because Caitlin Clark is on it. It's like saying Michael Jordan's not on the right team. It's the right team if Michael Jordan is on the roster.
But Clark's impact goes way beyond the stat sheet. The Indiana Fever? They've become must-see TV. Games featuring Clark are drawing record-breaking audiences. Merchandise sales? They're not just up, they're skyrocketing. It's like Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's conducting a masterclass in how to elevate an entire sport. And it's not just the fans who are taking notice. Clark's peers and analysts are comparing her impact to that of a cultural icon. She's not just playing basketball, she's changing the conversation around women's sports. Every time she steps on the court, she's making a statement that goes far beyond the final score.
We're bringing more and more fans to this league, people that have maybe never watched the WNBA before, and it kind of takes your breath away at points.
What's truly remarkable is how Clark has handled all this pressure and attention. She walked into the league with a target on her back, with everyone waiting to see if she'd crumble under the weight of expectations. Instead, she's embraced it all with a coolness that belies her rookie status. All of this brings us back to our friend Geno Auriemma. While Clark is out there rewriting record books and changing the game, Geno's probably watching from the sidelines, realizing he's on the wrong side of basketball history. His comments about Clark's ability to transition to the pro game? They've aged about as well as milk left out in the sun.
Geno Auriemma, Caitlin Clark again. The world turns. It's Caitlin Clark's world. We just live on planet Caitlin.
Let's be real. Caitlin Clark's decision to pass on Unrivaled isn't just about rest. It's a power move that's shaking up the basketball world. While Geno Auriemma's investment is tanking faster than a metal balloon, Clark's star is soaring higher than ever. She's not just playing the game, she's changing it. You know what's really wild? Clark's impact goes way beyond the court. She's drawing eyeballs to women's basketball like never before, and fans can't get enough. It's not just about her stats, which are ridiculous, by the way. It's about how she connects with people. She's got that special something that turns casual viewers into die-hard fans. So while Auriemma's counting his losses, Clark's busy writing her own legacy. She's proving that sometimes the best move is the one you don't make. And in this case, saying no to Unrivaled might just be the smartest play of her career. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.